If you've run paid ads for your coaching practice and they didn't work, the failure was almost certainly the channel, not you. Coaching ads fail a conditions test that most early-stage coaches don't know exists. This unit names the structural problem, the 4 conditions, and the rare case where the channel actually earns its cost. Have you run paid ads for your coaching practice? If you did and it didn't work, I want to tell you something. You almost certainly didn't fail. The channel almost certainly failed the conditions test. Those are very different diagnoses. Coaching is a high-trust, high-consideration purchase. The buyer doesn't pay because they saw an ad that said transform your leadership. They pay because they have evidence that this specific coach understands their specific situation. An ad can generate a click. It cannot establish the nuanced trust that precedes a significant coaching engagement. What would a buyer need to believe to click through and book a discovery call from an ad? They'd need to believe that this coach, who they've never heard of, whose voice and thinking they don't know, is the right person to help them with a high-stakes personal or professional problem. That's an enormous amount of trust to establish in a display ad. Coaching is near the top of the list of purchases that can't compress a 6-month trust-building sequence into a 30-second impression. Before paid ads can work for coaching, 4 things need to be true. 1. A tested converting offer. If the offer hasn't converted organically with warm referrals, paying to drive cold traffic to it won't reveal that the offer works. It'll reveal that cold traffic is harder, which is already known. 2. A validated discovery call conversion rate. If you don't know what percentage of discovery calls become clients, ads that fill your calendar with discovery calls produce noise, not signal. An unknown conversion rate means you're running an untestable experiment. 3. A landing page with credible specificity. Generic coaching copy, I help high achievers live their best lives, produces ad spend with 0 signal value. The click-through and bounce rates tell you nothing useful. 4. Budget for the learning curve. The minimum viable paid ads experiment for coaching typically requires enough spend to generate statistically meaningful discovery calls. At coaching's price points and typical conversion rates, that's usually higher than early-stage coach's budget. Tandem's paid ad experiments, anonymized, found that early-stage ad spend on coaching services produced leads at a cost that made the economics unworkable for most solo practices. This is directional data from one operation. The finding is consistent with what Tandem has observed across the coach network. Not a universal law, but the direction is real enough to name it plainly. There is a case where paid ads work for coaches. A productized, scoped program, not open-ended coaching, but a defined engagement with a named outcome and a fixed price, that has already converted organically and wants to scale a proven funnel. That's a year 3 or later move for most coaches, not a year 1 move. The word productized is doing a lot of work in that sentence. An ongoing coaching package is not productized. A defined 12-week program with a specific deliverable and a completion criterion is closer. Running ads to test whether an offer is valid is one of the more expensive ways to answer that question. Organic referral and warm outreach are faster and cheaper validators for offer fit. Ads are expensive ways to generate signal that slower and cheaper channels can also provide. Run the offer test organically first, always. If you have an active paid ad spend for your practice right now, open the channel Stop Doing list on the lesson page and add it as a line item, not a permanent decision, a diagnostic flag. Before you run the conditions test, you don't know whether the channel is right for your stage. Most early-stage coaches who do the test find the conditions aren't met yet. Add it to the list, run the test, then decide. Paid ads is the first channel to be careful about. The second is subtler. because it absolutely works for some buyers in some contexts. The mistake is applying it to the contexts where it categorically doesn't.